Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining us for the first time, we appreciate your time as always. Folks, today we have a very important episode to look into the reason why the United States of America was actually kicked out from the country of Niger. The global media will tell you it was as a result of the coup in the country of Niger. Far from it, that wasn't the issue. I will be exploring that into more strategic reasoning and more importantly looking at the geopolitical issues that happened at that particular time in that country in the continent of Africa. Make no mistake, African nations have made it clear that they are open to work with partners, but not those that come in to give them instruction. I will be exploring these from other perspectives and to dive into more strategic conversation like I've said. Listen folks, a number of you come to our channel and asking that you want to watch breaking news. No, we don't do breaking news here. We look at geopolitical stories and how Africa navigate this complex and unforgiving partnerships that it finds itself globally. All I ask you to do is, you know that our channel, the kinds of topic we talk about, always been suppressed and in most cases it's not being liked by geostrategic partners who have been bent to put the continent where it is. So what I ask you to do is smash the like button and support the channel and share the video. Let's go back to the conversation. So Niger, a very strategic country in the continent of Africa, like it or not, is the largest country in the Sahel, most significant geopolitical partner you would ever imagine. Niger asking France to leave the country came as a result of a whole lot of issues. We saw what happens regards to the NATO bombing that happened, which to an extent, based on geopolitical research, pushed a number of the Tuareg rebels who left the country of Libya and flooded across the Sahelian region and causing trouble to those countries across that particular part of the continent of Africa. Niger, a very important country, considering Burkina Faso, Mali, whom, if you remember, going back to Operation Serval, where France claimed to an extent that it wanted to support the countries of the Sahel to bring peace. Considering all of those implications that happened, and France's own record in the continent of Africa, which is nothing to write home about, make no mistake, African countries have said, we are open to working with partners who provide us collaborative aspect, a win-win partnership, and more importantly, working together. But the case of Niger was an example of a country that was facing existential threat. Niger was fighting for its own survival. The foreign policy of every country in the 21st century, especially after the pandemic, must start revising how they interact with their global partners, especially in the continent of Africa. African nations are open to working with all partners, but make no mistake, its nationals and citizens are paying closer attention in the geostrategic collaborations of their own government like never before seen. I want to dive into this specific, but first, let me take a look at the professor known as Alex Tonton, who have conducted extensive research. He was stunned and surprised when he was doing his task, some kind of a fellowship in the State Department of the United States of America. Mr. Tonton came to realize that the rank of an Assistant Secretary of State in the United States of America is equivalent to a president of any African country. I didn't say that. A lecturer and a professor, a researcher said it. Let me read what he said. According to Alex Tonton, he went ahead and said that when he flashed back to my years fellowshipping in the State Department in 2013 and 2014, during that time, one thing that shocked and also dismayed me is that the Assistant Secretary of State as a position was implicitly considered within the State Department as a position equivalent to the rank to an African head of state. Now, put that aside. When I talk about concerning paternalism and also instructive geopolitical engagement, sometimes we fail to recognize how important this could be in shaping the relationship of the future. The delegation of the United States of America to the country of Niger was a clear example. According to Alex Tonton, let me read what he said. Diplomatically, the United States of America's side appears to have stumbled in several ways, talking about the delegation to the country of Niger. The CNSP spokesperson criticized the United States for its unilateral announcement of the delegation's arrival, the date and the composition, and said that the Nigerian authorities received the delegation out of simple courtesy and hospitality. It also is possible that the Americans inadvertently insulted their host by sending what the United States regarded as a higher-level team, but what the Nigerians may have seen as insufficient senior. The delegation was headed by Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Field, and African Commander, General Michael Langley, and included their senior officials such as Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs, Celestine Wallander. There is just no smoke without fire. It is important for Africa's geopolitical partners to wake up. Soon we start asking, how are the Russians doing it? How are the Chinese doing it? It's because they understand the vital importance of a strategic collaboration in today's own global changes that we all are seeing. Keep aside the issue with regards to the coup. When the coup happened in the country of Niger, the country was going through tremendous challenges and a significant shift in the internal political space. The United States of America, a major player in the continent of Africa with regards to military bases and looking at it collaboration with countries across that region, had one of the largest drone bases in the city of Algadez. This drone base I'm talking about was being used as a reconnaissance mission, helped to look at the different activities of terrorists within that region and those who were engaging the partners of the United States of America, according to based on information that the US used that drone base to support its partners to provide air cover, provide support in a whole lot of area, a very important strategic zone. So when Niger asked France to leave the country, Niger never asked the United States of America to leave the territory. Niger was even still open to working with a number of other partners. And more importantly, at that specific time, what happened was that the United States of America and other geopolitical partners never took the country of Niger seriously. This is the problem I've been talking about, that countries are going through tremendous challenges, and the deposed leader went to one of the United States of America's newspaper and was talking about that rebels have taken over the government and they are not following the instruction on what was going on. And this was the problem, because we just hear things on one side. Make no mistake, the same Mr. Bassoum has been building collaboration with the country of France and a whole lot of other partners. But again, Niger was facing internal social issues, economic fundamentals, lack of infrastructural growth, difficulties. The population was asking questions, abundant natural resources, incredible uranium reserve. So you feel that these countries can just be in partnership and not look at their own internal challenges? I think the United States of America got it wrong. So what happened? The United States of America could not call what happened in the country of Niger a coup based on the United States' own particular constitution or whatever that is. They never said that was a coup, because if the United States would have said that, they will be packing out. The United States tried to patch up the relationship with the country of Niger. When things went sour was when the country of the United States of America sent a delegation to the country of Niger. The delegation that went to the country of Niger went ahead to become more extensively condescending to the Nigerian people. I'm talking about the Nigerian government. You can call it the junta, you can call it whatever you want to, but there was a shift in the administration. There was a new government in place. The rules of engagement the United States never respected. If you look at news media and a lot of other issues that happened at the time, the US was trying to give instruction to the country of Niger. And Niger never tolerated that. Niger never wanted that. This is the problem that we've been talking about on the international collaboration and partnerships, how African countries are being perceived in the global community. When the United States of America sent that particular delegation that comprised the Assistant Secretary of State, if I remember well, that was Molyfield in the Joe Biden administration, and you look at the African CENTCOM commander and a whole lot of other officials that went there. They were never allowed to see the president of the country because Niger considered that delegation to be below par. So this is another problem that African countries are facing with their geopolitical partners, in this case the United States of America. When that coup happened, what happened? The so-called partners who thought Niger was the most strategic partner came over and lambasted, the European Union lambasted the country of Niger and threatened sanctions. The United States of America held aid and, more importantly, said that it would cut billions of US dollars. We all remember how the former United States of America Secretary of State, Mr. Antony Blinken, came out openly and said that. It is important to note that the countries across the Sahel were facing tremendous difficulties in terms of their geopolitical environment with terrorist groups and other groups that were challenging them in that region. So the shift in power in the country of Niger was at a crossroad looking for partners that can provide them cover and security. The drone base in the city of Algadez, that was about $100 million US dollars, was an important infrastructure for the United States of America and the collaborative partners. But the United States of America moved so swiftly and started giving the normal, condescending, paternalistic, instructive, and wanted to shape the relationship in a way that the country of Niger cannot speak to other partners. This was a bigger problem in the continent of Africa. African countries have said they really want to work with everyone. They want to be open to diversify their relationship because the challenges that are being felt, not just from the security aspect, is enormous. So by diversifying that partnership, they have a chance to look beyond the horizon. So the United States of American delegation was comprised of low-level officials, according to the country of Niger's own prime minister, who they received the country of the United States of American delegation out of courtesy indeed. So the United States of America's own behavior by instructing the country of Niger not to work alongside the Russians or whether the Chinese or whoever, that's not how collaboration goes. Sovereignty was the key in the country of Niger at that particular time, but the United States of America failed to recognize that. In that instance, the country of Niger felt that their own independent security, their own sovereignty was at a crossroad. It's important to also note that that same particular period was a period where France came out clear to even did not respect the Vienna Convention, despite their own particular ambassador was declared persona non grata. For the United States of America not to respect the sovereignty and the independence of the country of Niger, who was willing to work alongside the Russians and also see what options exist, the US wanted to control the country of Niger. Niger refused that part, and for that reason, they saw that as a result of US's own individual interest, the United States never considered what Niger was up to. They never took Niger seriously, and this was a major concern. With a $100 million US drone base in the city of Algadez from a major superpower observing your shoulder on a daily basis, I think that was a bigger concern. For that reason, the Nigerian government came out and decided that the United States of America should leave. So what is happening here? The rules of engagement is a big problem in the geopolitical space in the continent of Africa and its global partners. The condescending attitude regards to delegation being sent and the comparison is a bigger problem in the continent of Africa at the moment. So Niger was an example of a situation where one of those countries that stood its grounds and reminded the United States of America that we are open to work, but more importantly, we can work alongside other partners who can provide us what we are looking at this current period in our own history. Niger, despite the coup that happened, was going through a transition. There was a new government in place. Whatever Mr. Bassum was talking about to the newspapers in the United States of America was irrelevant at that time. The United States and other geopolitical partners should respect each time these type of events occur. They should go and work alongside and look at a more collaborative aspect if they want to protect their own interest. But again, the Sahelian countries are crowded at the moment. Niger, what happens in this country was going to shape the global security in a number of areas. The United States of America's exit in the country of Niger was a fundamental blunder from a geostrategic point of view. The country of Niger made it clear that sovereignty was not negotiable. Let me know in the comment section what you think in regards to the reason why sending a low-level delegation to the country of Niger was to an extent, according to news media and the Nigerian officials, a fundamental mistake from the side of the United States of America. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.